Good morning, I'm Paul Lisnick, and coming up on WGN-TV Political Report.
We have to have a multi-jurisdictional federal solution.
What we're demanding from our city elected officials is action.
There are too many violent offenders and too little consequences in our courts.
As shootings surge in Chicago's neighborhood, city officials play the blame game. Is there a solution to the growing gun violence? Plus,
truly build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, to truly deal everybody in this time, we need to invest in our people.
President Joe Biden brings his message on lifting the middle class to Illinois. And later, are these the final days of America's forever war? We'll talk about the consequences of leaving Afghanistan once and for all. But we begin this morning here in Chicago with an issue that is dominating headlines here and across the nation. Each weekend, a different count of dozens shot, a number killed, few cases ever solved. As the summer death toll rises, frustration is mounting at all levels. Residents begging for change and those in charge looking for somebody to blame. The police want the courts to do more to keep criminals off the streets. Prosecutors want police to give them better cases. Aldermen are looking to the mayor for more funding for community programs. And the mayor, well, she's looking to Washington to pass tougher gun laws. The president is asking federal agents to step in to help, and the list just goes on. Well, State Representative LaShawn Ford is a Democrat who represents part of Chicago's West Side, including the Austin neighborhood. Joining me this morning to talk about the next step. Mr. Representative, good to see you again.
Good to see you, brother, listening.
So I was really intrigued, Sean, by a statement you put on Facebook. I'm going to quote you to it, which is, violence and crime are negatively impacting taxpayers, property owners, and healthcare professionals. Talk about that. How?
Yeah.
What were you meaning?
I mean, our city continues to spend money to fight crime and violence. And it's driving property values down because we know when crime is high, then property values go down in those communities. And it also puts a burden on our hospitals and our frontline workers in the hospital, doctors, nurses, with the emergency rooms from the trauma that's happening from the gun violence and other violent acts in our neighborhoods.
Well, not only do I read what you put on Facebook, but I follow the fans who respond to it. In one case, somebody in the comments said, or actually accused you, if you will, of voting for a bill that makes it harder for cops to do their jobs. I'm guessing that's a reference to the criminal justice bill. How do we balance supporting cops and citizens at the same time?
Well, you have bad cops and you have bad citizens, and both have to have consequences. And we cannot protect criminals from breaking the law no more than we can protect law enforcement from breaking the law. So what we have to do is come together and stop, as you said earlier, playing the blame game and passing the buck. You know, politicians are not getting along in the city and the state, and so the citizens are suffering from that.
Well, and one of the great reasons I wanted to have you on is because, as I said leading up to you, and as you just did, the alderman blaming the mayor, everybody blaming somebody else, but you're in the state legislature, so in many ways you're just a little bit above that fray looking at it. So let me ask you, who do you think has what responsibilities in this problem?
Well, you know, we have a perfect example of working and dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, where we all looked out for one another and we came together as a country. And so the state came together with the city and the county to deal with the pandemic. We need that same type of coming together so that we can deal with the violence. The violence has been around long before I was a politician, so it's all our fault if we don't come together and deal with it as a pandemic that it is.
There is a bit of a push for Springfield to get involved in this way. Earlier this week on Wednesday, Jamal Green and others called on the governor to declare a state of emergency decree in Illinois after one of the most deadly violent weekends we've had in terms of 4th of July, 104 shot, 19 killed, at least 13 kids wounded. Now, there is precedent for this. Governor Cuomo has done this in New York. What would such a declaration accomplish here in Illinois?
Well, I think that when you have a situation where you declare a state of emergency, and I've been asking for a state of emergency in the Black communities for at least 10 years because we've been in a state of emergency. So it would allow the governor to use money at his discretion for the problem. And so he would be able to use money to help these communities open up mental health facilities, to help these communities have what you call best practices. So the state, the city, everyone knows what makes a healthy community. All we have to do is look at some of the communities with the lowest crime rates. If we could just take those models and make sure that citizens have the same opportunities as those residents in those communities, I think that we could see a reduction in crime. That's why it's good to hear the president talk about investing in human capital. We have to make sure that the state works with the governor to build trade schools throughout the city of Chicago to give people hope and opportunities so that they are not living a life of crime.
Well, let me pick up on that. As you indicate, the president was here this past week, and the mayor met him on the tarmac, talked to him for a while. She said she thanked him for what he was doing for states around the country. The question is the federal government's doing enough? The mayor said later, we need resources, not troops, a reference to some of the help I think that the Trump administration was trying to provide.
You know, I think that we have everything that we need in the state. If the state and the country is going to continue to tell people to stop making excuses about getting your life on track and just use the resources that you have to do what you need to do so that you could be successful, I think that the city, the state should do the same thing. We're spending taxpayer dollars and we need to budget for better outcomes and budget for results. So, you know, if we don't have it, we still have to use taxpayer dollars to the best of our ability to make sure that we deal with the problems.
The state's put $128 million of this budget into violence protection programs. Governor points out that's an increase of $50 million over the first year. Is that enough? Is that enough money in the problem?
You know, we can never, ever throw too much money at it, but what we have to do is this money has to be used properly. We have to go into these communities and let the people in these communities talk and listen to them. What we have too often is not-for-profits that's not from the communities going in with the plan. We cannot do that. If we want to fix the problems within each community has to be a part of the solution to help cure the problems, because the people in those communities know the people that's creating the problem.
And before I let you go, Representative, you came public with a battle you've had with prostate cancer, which really interesting, and you beat it. What's really interesting about that is you had a physician who said, don't worry about it, you're too young, you're healthy, you eat well, and all of that. You have a message for folks out there who say, hey, I'm not old enough to worry about those colonoscopies and such, prostate checks, PSA.
Absolutely. I think, Paul, that what's most important is there are no signs for prostate cancer until it metastasizes out of the prostate. So my message is to advocate for yourself. Tell your doctor you want to know more about your prostate health and advocate. And make sure you have a doctor, a family doctor that you have a relationship with. And in Illinois, open enrollment for Medicaid is August 15th. So if you don't have insurance, make sure you get covered by Illinois' Get Covered insurance.
Nothing like personal experience tells us a story. Representative LaShawn Ford, thanks for being with us. Glad you're healthy. Glad you pushed the doctor to say, we want to check on this because you were right. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Paul.